What's up, babe? Slick Kackis here. Thank you so much for stopping by, and today we are going over the 5 best weapons introduced in Destiny 2 Season of the Worthy. Essentially, this season is winding down, and if you're looking to come out the other side with the best that's currently available, you don't want to be bogged down grinding for old weapons in the new Season 11, this is definitely the video for you. We're going to be breaking down the best of the best, both their PvE and their PvP god rolls, and where to get these weapons. And so, let's get started. Now, at number 5, we have the 7th Seraph CQC12. Feel like I'm speaking parcel tongue, Harry Potter reference for y'all. Legendary Energy Shotgun. Now, this weapon is acquired at level 45 within the season's pass. Once you get that particular roll, you'll then be able to get this weapon out of random Warmind chests. Now, this is importantly a Seraph weapon, which means it's going to work with all of the different specific Seraph mods that came with Season of the Worthy. So producing Warmind cells, being able to blow those up, do more damage, some of them even let you pick them up and gain overshields and all that, that's going to work with this weapon. So that's one of the reasons it's on this list. This is probably the best and the most practical of all of the different Seraph weapons introduced within this season. And the reason being is because this is just a good weapon on its own. Looking at the stats here, incredibly high handling. It belongs to the 80 rounds per minute archetype for shotguns. And that means it's going to be a lightweight frame, which means it gives you better handling and you move faster with this weapon equipped. Now, if you look at the perks here, it has both a phenomenal PvE god roll and a PvP god roll. PvP first. You can get both rifled barrel or full choke to extend your range or reduce the spread, and then you can combine that with accurized rounds to increase the range even further, or potentially assault mag wouldn't be a bad choice either, or light mag basically is a worse version of accurized. Then, importantly, you can get quick draw. Shotguns with quick draw, allowing them to be drawn faster, are top tier. And lastly, you can combine that with, importantly, Vorpal weapon for more damage against supers. This weapon with Vorpal is going to let you shotgun melee pretty much anyone within a super, and that is a very powerful feature. This thing is going to be better at taking down supers than even a shotgun that does a lot more base damage because of Vorpal weapon. So that's the PvP god roll you're looking for. But in terms of PvE, we've also got some great options here. The barrel doesn't matter as much. You can combine it with a magazine extended perk, or even, assault mag would be good there as well. And then I'm actually going for lead from gold. This is going to let you get shotgun ammo when you pick up heavy ammo. And then in the final slot, I'm either combining that with Vorpal weapon, but honestly, probably trench barrel is even better. Get a melee kill, do 50% more damage for 3 shots. Now that PvE god roll might sound a little bit weird. Not many people are talking about lead from gold, but I've found it incredibly useful in a bunch of builds. Any builds that revolve around a super powerful heavy weapon. Are you using the Heir Apparent, the 1k voices, etc.? Well, that means you're probably going to want to have your armor have scavengers and finders in whatever gun type your heavy is. And you're going to be getting a ton of heavy ammo throughout your activity. Well, that means you can put on this weapon with lead from gold and constantly have a good shotgun filled to the brim with ammo as well. And the fact that it also comes with trench barrel is another fantastic option. It just lets you run a shotgun in a position that not many other shotguns, if any, can also run. So that's our number 5 pick. Now, moving on from there, we have at number 4, the Summoner Legendary Energy Auto Rifle. This comes from Trials of Osiris, and this, looking at the stats, is a 600 rounds per minute auto rifle, 42 rounds in the magazine, incredibly good handling, great other stats as well. Now, the 600 RPM archetype was recently buffed, and it is reaping those rewards in mainly PvP, but it's also also better in PvE as well. Taking a look at the perks here, we have again a great PvE and a great PvP god roll going on. PvP first. So you're looking for something like ricochet rounds would be fine, light mag, high caliber rounds, all of those would be appropriate. Then you're combining that with, in my opinion, moving target. I really like moving target, allowing you to strafe faster with auto rifles, win gunfights against people who don't have this perk. Or dynamic sway reduction has also turned out to be very good. It all but eliminates your recoil as you keep shooting this weapon. However, I found it to be pretty accurate and don't really miss it on my moving target rangefinder roll. Speaking of, in that second slot, rangefinder is probably your best option just to increase its lethality and engage people at ranges they're not expecting, but rampage is pretty good as well, and actually elemental capacitor, if you're running a void subclass, which is going to increase your stability, is a pretty good choice as well. Now going to the PvE god roll, you're probably looking for, something like appended mag or extended mag there, and then you're mainly looking for overflow. This perk is actually pretty insane. If you pick up one brick of special, guess what? You go from 42 rounds in the magazine to like 90 or 100 rounds in the magazine. And combine that with rampage, well, as you can imagine, it's pretty easy to get rampage to ×3 and keep it at ×3 if you're rocking 100 round auto rifle magazines. It's a very deadly combo, and it's something that isn't commonly available. Only one other gun can get those two perks together in the auto rifle category, the Gnawing Hunger. So at the end of the day, 600 RPM autos are performing really well right now, and this is one of the best, so get your hands on it. Moving on from there, at number 3, we have the Dire Promise Legendary Kinetic Hand Cannon. This weapon is taking PvP by storm. Taking a look at its stats here, it's a 150 RPM hand cannon, and those are generally considered the best for PvP. And importantly, it has a great range stat. In fact, the competition for this, the Spare Rations, has a starting range stat of only 39 compared to 45 here. That is a big bonus. It doesn't matter that much in game, but still, advantages are advantages. Moving on to the perks, the PvP god roll would be something like ricochet rounds, potentially high caliber rounds or light mag, and then you're combining that with absolutely opening shot, improved accuracy and range on the opening shot of an attack, and that's going to let you significantly extend your range. Combine that with, in the second category, rangefinder to extend your range even further, and you've got a weapon that can engage enemies, that can 3-tap enemies at ranges that most other 150s simply can't compete. And that's why the Dire Promise is getting a lot of play right now. Now, those ranges, are they that much further than other 150s? No. But again, if you're talking about absolute advantages, the Dire Promise does have them. Now, in PvE, we also have some great rolls here. Definitely going for something like, ricochet rounds, maybe an extended mag perk, and combining that with, again, that overflow perk. This is incredibly good. This is an 11 round magazine. Overflow is going to make it like 20 or more. And then you want to combine that with Swashbuckler, which gives you more damage and stacks upon each kill, but goes right to its max ×5, 30% more damage stack if you get a melee kill. So if you're running like 20 round magazine hand cannon, which just doesn't happen in this game, and combining it with Swashbuckler, getting some melee kills, constantly keeping that damage up, that is a very powerful PvE roll. You can potentially combine it as well with Osmosis, where using your grenade changes this kinetic weapon to that grenade's elemental type, and that's going to be useful in Nightfalls, for example, where match game is a modifier. So at the end of the day, 150s are just phenomenal. Anytime a new 150 archetype hand cannon comes out, the entire community takes notice. The Dire Promise not only has some great stats, but also some great perk combos, and that PvP role has certainly proved itself to be a very powerful one. So definitely this is acquired through world drops, so it's just kind of random. You're either going to get this weapon out of a legendary engram or you're not. You can improve your chances by buying legendary engrams specifically from the Cryptarch, but it can be a long and painful process, and the fact that this has a lot of perks that maybe aren't that good means that this is a little bit further down on the list. But moving on from there, we have the Interference 6 Legendary Power Grenade Launcher. So this thing, looking at the stats, belongs to the 120 RPM archetype for grenade launchers. Importantly, that means it's in the Adaptive Frame archetype. And what that means for you is that the Aggressive Frame archetype was actually impacted by a big nerf, reduced the damage by 20%. This skirted around that. It wasn't impacted by that. And that means that this is still outputting pretty significant damage. And really, why this is on the list is that the perk choices are unbelievable. It's almost impossible to get a bad roll for this weapon. Take a look at what I'm talking about. So, mainly, you're looking for spike grenades. This is going to increase damage for a direct hit, and more damage is what you want. Like maybe proximity grenades or something that just improves the blast radius if you're looking for a PvP roll. But then in that first category, you've got 3 excellent choices. Auto-loading holster is great for, grenade launchers. Shoot your rounds, change to a different weapon, change back to your grenade launcher, it's all reloaded. Field prep is also phenomenal, increasing the inventory size. The reserve size is great for any sort of damage phase, but mainly the key here is Clown Cartridge. Reloading this weapon automatically overfills it from reserves. It has normally a 5-round magazine, but when you reload with Clown Cartridge, you're getting 7 or 8 every single time, and that is incredibly powerful. In the second perk slot, you've got another just smorgasbord of great options. Demolitionist, which is going to reload your weapon automatically for throwing a grenade and get you more grenade energy for kills. You've also got Swashbuckler, so just get a melee kill and then fight the boss. Every single round is going to have a 30% damage bonus. Phenomenal. But I think the absolute god perk is Full Court. Increases the detonation damage as the projectile travels further before exploding. So just more damage pretty much all the time. The further you are, even more damage. And in a previous video, I did the tests, and this weapon with spike grenades, Clown Cartridge, and Full Court will out DPS for sustained damage the rapid fire archetype right now. So this is potentially the new king of PvE grenade launchers, and it should definitely be something you're paying attention to. And moving on from there, in the number 1 slot, the weapon I think is going to make the most impact down the line is the Astral Horizon Legendary Kinetic Shotgun. This comes from Trials of Osiris, unfortunately to hear for some people, but we do know that the bounty system and the way to acquire weapons in Trials is improving moving forward. In any event, looking at the stats, this is a 55 RPM shoddy, which means it's the highest damaging, slowest shooting version. Now, looking at the perks here, really we have a phenomenal PvP role that people are going for. Mainly we've got either full choke or rifled barrel being great options again here. Combining that with Accurized is amazing. Light mag is not bad, and even Assault mag would be pretty good as well. But absolutely in that first perk choice, we're looking for Quick Draw. As I've stated earlier, Quick Draw is like the bee's knees when it comes to shotgun perks. If you don't get that and you get Slide Shot, that's a pretty good consolation prize, to be honest. In that second perk category, we are absolutely going for Opening Shot. Improved accuracy and range on the opening shot of an attack, as you can imagine with a shotgun, that's phenomenal. And essentially, Opening Shot will kind of make up for a bad range stat. So Opening Shot with like no good range perks on this weapon will hit pretty much the same numbers at pretty much the same distance as a Mindbender's with like a maxed out range stat. So you can forego having, a range masterwork, you can forego accurized rounds. As long as you have Opening Shot, you'll pretty much get good enough. And if you have all of those things combined, you can do some pretty dirty things with the Astral Horizon. Now, although the PvP role is going to be where this thing really shines, it's got a pretty good PvE role as well. Assault Mag and then Tactical Mag are great options. Combine that with, Slide Shot is a great choice. Field Prep even is not bad. Even autoloading holster on a shotgun isn't terrible either. And then in that last slot, we do have Swashbuckler being a pretty darn good option. And importantly, 1-2 punch. Like 1-2 punch is a pretty powerful perk. It lets you use certain combinations on the hunter specifically. It makes the Liar's Handshake builds possible, and it's not that common of a perk. So this could be a definite choice to use there. And so guys, that is it for the video. I hope you enjoyed, found this informative, and if you did, please remember to help me out by simply rating and especially sharing this video. If you guys want to see more Destiny 2 content similar to this, don't be afraid to slap that subscribe button. And if you want to get in touch with me and keep up to date with the latest channel activity, the best way is to follow me on Twitter at RickKackis. That's linked in the description down below. Again, I hope you enjoyed the video, and as always, have a good day.